Kia ora, kia ora. Oops. Hi, we're just here outside the High Court. We've just finished. Sue Gray and Ken, the barrister, they've just finished. They're coming out now. Sue's coming and they're going to talk to the media. So we're just putting this on as a Facebook Live onto the Outdoors Party Facebook page. Or Sue's, actually, I think it's Sue's Facebook page. It's Tracy Livingston here. They're just coming out now. Here they're coming. Here's Sam, baby, Liz, Ken. We just want to film this so we've got a good report of what's actually happening.
Oh no, I probably better than I'll just ask Sam, do you want to just come for a moment? Sam needs to go and feed the babies, but she's happy to just come for a couple of moments.
Here's Sam.
Just say hello.
Hi everyone.
What do you think about what's happened in here today?
I would have hoped we could have got more moving forward, but we haven't, so we've just got to trust the process, I suppose.
So, and the lawyers are saying that, that was saying that with every heartbeat your baby's getting sicker. I mean, what did it feel like to hear that?
No, that's not, no. He's stable at the moment. He's doing well. He needs an urgent operation. That's how things are.
What are you, if the case doesn't go your way and you can't have unvaccinated blood, would you still go ahead with care?
What do you mean with care?
Like, would you still allow your baby to have the operation?
No, that's why we're here. We're here to, no, we want the operation. Please don't twist my words.
No,
we
I'm just trying to clarify with
an
you.
operation.
Yeah.
We're desperate for an operation, but we need to have safe blood. That is our right as a mother and as my voice for my baby.
How do you strike a balance between the right to choose and your baby's life?
Well, it's both the same side. The right to choose. This is a really unusual case. The other cases that are medical guardianship cases have been where the parents don't want treatment for their child. This is a case where the parents want better treatment for their child than the state is offering. And it's gone down this path because we have a government and a blood bank that are not prepared to make available services that they can offer and that they offer in other situations. They're not willing to make those services available to this baby. So it's a really important case, and it's even more significantly done because not only are they not offering those services, but they're saying, we know best what's good for your baby and we want you to do it our way, and we are not even going to talk to you. We're going to go into the court and we're going to try and get somebody from the court to gang up with us effectively and make you do what we want to do, because we're going to show you where the box. And that is not how New Zealand runs, and the rights of the parents, these are amazing parents. I've been up in the hospital with them watching two babies, one sick baby and a 2-year-old, away from home, in an incredibly difficult situation. For the Health New Zealand, the new government organisation, to put these parents in such an awful situation is just unbelievable. All they need to do is make available the New Zealand Blood Service to take the donors' blood. We've got 30 or so donors with suitable, compatible blood who are willing and able to make that blood available for this baby. They just need to say, okay, we're here to cooperate and to listen to our clients. That's all they need to do.
Can you tell us what your baby's condition is and the treatment that the doctors say that he needs?
Yeah, he's putting on weight, and yeah, he's doing really, really well. So he's got pulmonary valve stenosis. So that's a condition that people can live with, and they can be athletes, and if it's mild or moderate, but his is severe. So it needs, he's got an obstruction in his heart, so it needs immediate attention, basically. It needs surgery to fix the problem.
You certainly don't need a supposed medication that is proven to cover myocarditis and pericarditis to pulmonary stenosis, that's correct?
Yeah. All we need the government to do is read their own advice on the MedSafe, who are the regulators, about the risks of the vaccine and the uncertainties. We just need them to read their own advice. There's a document called the Risk Management Plan for Comirnaty, which is the Pfizer vaccine. And that identifies the risks, including myocarditis, and the uncertainties of the elements of the vaccine that they don't know what the health effects are. And so if they just read their own document, this allegation that there's nothing to this immediately goes away. It's incomprehensible. They're all part of the same department. MedSafe is part of the Ministry of Health, and yet they're not even reading their own documents.
So what do you want? Can I just ask, what's your understanding of precedents in this case in terms of, we had a speaker out the front here basically talking about direct to donor donations. What's your understanding of how often they have been administered in the past and whether they are possible?
Look, until recently it was published on the Blood New Zealand website that direct donor services were available where required. And the correspondence we've had is if the surgeon asks for it, they can do it. But they don't want to do it, presumably because they're concerned about there might be a precedent set. I mean, what we would be saying is if they kept unvaccinated blood separate from the vaccinated blood, there wouldn't be an issue because the people that needed it could get it anyway. But the priority here is this baby, this case. There is a solution to his health problem. It's a solution with no risk. I mean, if everybody's wrong about the risks of the vaccine, there's still no downside. It's a little bit more administrative convenience perhaps for the blood bank, but it's a lot less administrative convenience than putting everybody to the challenge of having to come to court.
I think in this case, correct me if I'm wrong here, Sam, but I think in the video you said you had 20 donors lined up, willing to go, for want of a better word. And so this is probably one for you. Do you know if donations have been administered in the past in that fashion, whereby you have your own people lined up and they can donate?
Yeah, look, definitely their own people can be lined up. It happens with families where there's some medical condition and they need a special type of blood. That the capacity is there, the willingness is not there.
So what do you want to happen with the mediation in the next few days?
What the ideal outcome would be that the blood bank would agree to collect blood from these donors and put it aside ready for this baby to have the operation that he needs.
And how do you feel that the hearing isn't until next Tuesday?
Look, the stress of the situation is horrible for everybody. I mean, we only found out about the application. You were served with the application on Monday night, so we've all been basically working around the clock trying to get documents together. But it does need to be done urgently. This is such a unique situation where we've got exceptional parents who have done everything they can for their baby under the most incredibly difficult circumstances. And all they're asking is basic informed consent, basic principles that we've always recognised in the law of New Zealand. It came out loud and clear in the cervical cancer inquiry, Dame Sylvia Cartwright's inquiry. It's come out loud and clear ever since. But in the last couple of years, the direction the country has gone, we seem to have forgotten these basic rights of New Zealanders. And actually the court has started stepping up. There's a really important case, Fitzgerald and the Queen, where the court said, it reminded everybody at the end of last year, the Supreme Court of New Zealand, that fundamental human rights are preeminent. We must put our fundamental human rights first, and we must interpret our rules and of course our policies and procedures to protect fundamental human rights. But it all seems to have gone on the back burner over the last couple of years. And so, you know, it's just so important that we remember these things. What is it to be a human? What is it to be a parent? What is it if the government can say, oh, look, we don't really like the way you want to do this. We're going to come in over the top of you, put you under all of the stress and make you go to court. What sort of society would that be? You know, we're not China. We need to stand up for what we want New Zealand to be like in the future. And so you've got this awful situation where you didn't ever want to find yourself in this situation, but really what you're going through could be what any one of us is going through for our children, our grandchildren, whatever in the future.
So
I think
how
that's
critical
why all
is
these
this
people are
surgery?
here.
What happens if you can't get it?
He needs it. Yeah, he needs the surgery. I wouldn't want to.
And how soon do you need it?
Well, like I said, he is stable because he's at the moment thriving because he's putting weight on. So those are all really good clinical signs. But obviously, you know, I can't really answer that. He just, yeah.
And the thing is, it's much better while he's striving to get the operation done than if he's declining. Like, it's obviously in his interest to get it done. But what nobody wants is to have an operation with blood that might trigger myocarditis, or it might trigger clots, or it might trigger any of the other problems that if you go on the MedSafe site, we've got the coroner's report from Rory there, and that's myocarditis. So the logic of this, it clearly, the vaccine that clearly has longer term effects on the body and can cause inflammation. The coroners agreed with that in Rory's case, but the same thing potentially can happen for anybody else. And all of the risk factors are, if you've got a heart issue, if you're a very fragile, vulnerable person, the very risk factors why you don't want to be exposed to vaccination apply to this baby.
Sue, can obviously, and Sam, this will be controversial too, but can you sort of just give us a bit of a flavour of, and you will have had a number of meetings with Water and their staff over this case, but just a flavour of what their, I guess, hesitancy to proceed with the course of action you want to go down. What have they said actually? Like, what have they actually said is the issue?
What they've basically said is that this family are conspiracy theorists and that they therefore don't need to listen to anything they say. That's effectively, and that's what they've said in the affidavit, and that's why I said it in court. That is their own words. That is the word of the senior cardiologist, and that she quotes the blood service representative saying. And that is something I've never seen in court documents before from so-called professional people labelling parents in a way and then using that to completely ignore the very, very serious issues that they've raised. This is why it's so wrong. You know, if they would just, it's normally we have court cases on these medical guardianship issues, and the issue is that the parents have got some kind of belief that is out of kilter with the best interests of the child. Here we've got the doctors having beliefs that are out of kilter with the interests of the child. And if this family are wrong, if there's nothing wrong with the blood, it doesn't cause any harm. But if the family is right, and there are elements in the blood that will cause inflammation, myocarditis or anything else, then there's a huge, huge risk that the baby's living with a time bomb forever, and it's the last thing he needs. It's the last thing he needs. So I don't understand why the doctors are making personal judgment calls that are not in the best interests of this baby. That's what's really odd about this case. And it may be that Health New Zealand, now that the government's taken over all the DHBs, they're so big and they're so powerful that they think that they can dictate to all of us what kind of help we get. It may be that, it may be something else, but that's the kind of thing that we need to understand. They need to articulate exactly what their problem is, not call people names, but actually read the evidence from MedSafe, read the evidence from all of the experts around the world, look at all of these cases where there is long-term effects because of contamination of blood, and do what best medical practice requires and what the parents are asking for.
Sam, how old is your baby?
4 months.
When I was in the meeting with them on Friday morning, I asked the surgeon that repeatedly, why are you opposing this? There will be no harm. They've got the blood ready. The operation can go ahead. In the interests of the parents and the child, this can go ahead. The surgeon's repeated answer to me was, because I don't believe there's any problem with the blood. And I kept saying, but it's not about your belief. In a free country, you can hold whatever belief you want. This is about the parents' right to choose and on their informed consent. And they are deeply informed, they are deeply studied, they have done enormous due diligence on their informed consent under our law. You doctors must listen to what the parents want. And that was when they walked out. This case is about Will's life, and he is a very special little boy, but it's about the lives of your children and grandchildren. If one day we find that our blood bank is utterly polluted, we don't know yet, we pray it won't be, you will be so grateful to have had this case where all you journalists have stood up and said, we must have the option of unjabbed blood in New Zealand. Furthermore, New Zealand and every journalist listening
We were once a great nation who stood up to America on nuclear ships. We stood up to France on Mururoa. What has happened to our courage and guts? We must send a message to the world. This case will be an absolute touchstone for the world if this judge gets it right and makes sure that we have unjabbed blood in New Zealand. This will reverberate through every country.
It shouldn't even come to that.
Yeah.
The solution is in their hands. They've got my number. They know where to find you up in the hospital. They can actually say yes, we'll do it. Yeah. We don't need to wait until Tuesday. We don't need to put everybody through the stress.
Is it, Sam, is it true that they've threatened to lock you in the hospital?
Well, no, not lock me in the hospital, no, but they did say that after today, which is yesterday, that I wouldn't be able to go out with him. And I said that we're not prisoners. Well, that's not happening.
Thank you. Sorry.
Okay, I think you guys need to go.
Yep, we got to feed the babies. Let's go.
Okay.
Everybody for being here.
So there it is. That's an amazing turnout here at the High Court in Auckland. Sorry, just getting out of the throng. So big cheers for Sue and Liz and everybody here today. A fairly good outcome in that they're going to mediation, and so meeting back on Tuesday. See you guys. Meeting back on Tuesday, but if the mediation goes well, we'll all we don't have to be back here on Tuesday for the hello.
Crazy times.
Oh yeah. Okay. So that's all right. I think it's all right. I've just flipped it around. So now there we go. Hi everyone out there in Facebook land. I'm going to shut down this livey now. Sorry if the sound wasn't good. It's crazy here. Newspaper reporters everywhere. So it'll be interesting to see what happens on the news. Yeah. Okay. Tracy over and out. Thanks for watching. Not sure how to stop this. All right, I got it now. Okay, bye.